When I was 20 years old, an Applebee's came to my hometown. It was the best thing that ever happened to my hometown because there's absolutely nothing there. And me and all my knucklehead friends got jobs there, and it became the summer of half-price appetizers and endless hand jobs. Instantly. So we all got jobs there, and the great thing about when an Applebee's comes anywhere is they hire hot chicks from the neighboring towns. And all of my friends had like direct access to like the hot chicks from the town next door, you know, like the you hear about all throughout high school, you know. Every weekend my parents would take their boat over to Fire Island and leave me alone in my house. I had a pool, I had a trampoline. My friends and I would smoke buckets of marijuana and make this stuff called butter fries, where we'd put the fries in the oven and then we'd melt butter and pour it on top and put it back in and wait for it to crisp up. How you doing? Good night. End of story. Then we'd invite the girls from Applebee's over and we'd all hook up with each other. You know, it's summertime. You're high. It happens. There was this one girl named Allie who tried her hand with every one of us, and she was very nice, but all the other guys said no, and I said yes. I said yes a lot. She had big, perky tits, and she loved me, and I loved her, so we had a lot of sex. In my parents' bedroom, there was this bell hanging on the wall, and every time that we had sex, we would ring the bell so everyone knew we were having sex. The ironic part is, at Applebee's, if someone gives a tip that's really big, you ring a bell. Well, I gave her more than a tip that summer. I gave her a child. I gave her our son, Travis. And Travis was born about, obviously, 9 months later. We got married shortly thereafter. My friend Kevin was my best man. I'd known him my entire life. He gave the greatest speech. Just to give you a little perspective about my hometown, it was the kind of wedding where he wore a tuxedo with a pair of Nikes. That's just the way it goes. So I kind of gave up college, and I gave up any idea of me being on stage telling jokes. And I lived a domestic life. I got a small shack in my hometown, and I didn't mind it. I really didn't. I liked coming home at night. I liked having a family. I was young, but I was happy. So then one afternoon, I come home, and Travis is watching TV, and I asked Travis, I said, "Hey, where's Mom?" And she said, she's in the bedroom with Uncle Kevin. I lost a best friend and a wife that day. I didn't kill them, but you get the picture. So I call all of my friends, and I guess I call, some of them live in Connecticut now, some of them live in Boston, some of them live in New York City, and I say, guys, you got to come home. This is what's going on. So they all rally around me at the beginning of this one summer, and they kind of hold me in their arms, and they say, we're going to help you get through this, Matt. And my friend Joey Dubs, Joey Walkoff, this is where the real surprise happens. His uncle that I've never met passes away and gives him something very special. Gives him a boat. This boat was old. It was called the Slug. And Joey did what any normal person would do with a boat like that. He painted it bright purple. And he turned the G in the word slug to a T, and he named it the Slut. And we took the Slut over to Fire Island every single weekend. My entire group of friends took the train to Long Island, and we all partied every weekend like we were 15, 16, and 17 years, all over again. Under normal circumstances and in your adult life, you don't get a chance to do that with your childhood friends anymore, but because we were rallying around a moment, and around me, it happened. And there was this one moment I remember, clouds rolling in on a Sunday morning, and I'm sitting on the boat, and my friends are in floaties out in the water, and I'm on a little bit of mushrooms, and I'm listening to the Beach Boys. And I think to myself, you know, you're going to be all right. Things are always going to be a little weird, and things are going to be all right at all times, and that's kind of the combination that my life has always been, and it sustains. Then the end of the summer was coming. Labor Day weekend, we all rallied over to the beach one last time. I get off the boat, I swim to the bar, and I see this girl. I'll go back in time, junior high, Margaret Tapagna. I saw Zach Morris do this one thing once where he walked up to Kelly Kapowski and put his hand on her locker. She's right here. And he kissed her. I tried that with this girl. My head fell right into her head, and she fell down. Embarrassing. Okay, fast forward to right now. There she is at the bar. No ring on her hand. There's no ring on my hand. Under normal circumstances, obviously, I wouldn't have gone for this, but I went right up to her. I started dancing, and she was vibing on me. I was vibing on her, and I was like, hey, listen, take a walk with me. So we took a walk outside the bar, right on the side, and I said, hey, listen, I tried something when we were 12, and I messed up. Just give me another shot. And she said, yeah. So literally, I separated myself from her. I walked up to her, I put my arm up, and I kissed her. I was like, that's all I really needed. Let's go back and dance. And that's what we did. The end of the summer came to a close, and all of my friends realized that we had something very unique and very special that we'll always have in our pocket. People went back to Connecticut. People went back to New York City. I got a new place. I started performing live comedy again. I got cast on a TV show called Funniest Wins on TBS, which was a comedy competition series that Marlon Wayans was hosting. I moved out here. But one day, I get a phone call at 6 o'clock in the morning to Joey Dubs crying. He's like, Matt, it happened. I was like, what happened, buddy? He's like, what was meant to happen? I was like, can you get to the point? He's like, the boat sunk. I was like, what do you mean? He's like, well, it did what it was supposed to do. He's like, sluts go down, right? And I said, yeah, they do. And we'll always have that. And I guess the point of the story is it's got a lot of surprises in it, but the one thing that's not a surprise to me is that you can get through anything if you've got the right people around you. And I've lived in a bunch of major metropolitan cities my entire adult life. And I don't have a lot of money. I don't have a lot to show for myself in terms of material goods, but what I do have is fantastic people around me. And that's the surprise of my life, I guess. That's it. So let's go down. How you doing?